Welcome to Sunrise Yoga. Mine is the Gateway Arch Park, but we are so lucky to be able to bring yoga to you live. Thank you to the Gateway Arch Park and to Yoga Buzz as well. My name is Nikki. Today we're going to do a nice kind of all levels class, a little bit of grounding work today. So we're going to get started. Let's get started on our backs. So you can be knees bent, legs long, whatever's comfortable for you, and just take a few minutes here to kind of get settled. You can soften your gaze or close your eyes. Maybe put a hand on your belly and one on your chest so you can really feel your breath. And then you bring your focus in to your breath. As you inhale, feel that oxygen fill your throat, fill your lungs, fill your belly. And as you exhale, just start to let go, start to release, relax, and just let go. Breathing in, you can imagine that breath is, full of positive energy. You can make it a color if you like. I like to imagine it being like blue, my favorite color. Filling your body. And as you exhale, you can imagine that energy taking with it any stress, any tension, any negativity, anything that you're holding on to. We have a lot of emotions going on right now. So you can just try and let those go. And we're going to take about 4 more rounds of breath here. Just centering, filling our bodies, slowing down our brains. Let's take one more breath. Really breathe it in. Pull that oxygen down to the bottom of your lungs. And a big exhale to let it all out. Feel free to keep your eyes closed or gaze soft. And start to bring your knees in towards your belly, arms out towards the side. Keep your lower back on the ground. And then let your legs kind of fall over to the right side just a little bit. As you inhale, bring them back up to center. Exhale over to the left. Inhale up to center. And just move with your breath about 2 more times each side, starting to warm up the body, warm up the spine. Maybe you just got up, or sometimes, especially since a lot of people are working from home, or if you're not working right now, maybe you're sitting around a little bit more than normal and your body is maybe a little more stiff than usual. So just get some movement in there. On your next inhale, bring your knees back towards your belly. Rock and roll long on your spine a few times from your tailbone to the crown of your head. And maybe the 3rd or 4th time, come on up to seated. And then find your way into tabletop. So you can roll forward or swing your legs around. It's whatever feels good here. Bring your wrists under your shoulders and your knees under your hips. Press down into your knuckles and the tops of your feet. And as you inhale, let your belly drop, head and hips rise. Exhale to press down into the earth, arch your back up to the sky. Nice cat-cow. So move here with your breath. Take your time. Imagine your breath and your body moving as one. So just a nice continuous movement. Inhale, your body continues to dip into that cow, that U position. Exhale, it's slowly arching up until you reach the peak of that arch. And then you start your inhale to let the belly start to drop again. Nice gentle movements. Any extra moves you like, feel free to take them here. This is also my favorite stretch for low back, and and back in general. So if you are finding yourself in odd positions and you're having some back pains or some stiffness, this is a really great stretch to do anytime to loosen everything up and get things moving. And on our next inhale, we're going to come back into that tabletop position. And then you're going to take your toes, big toes, almost touching, maybe touching, knees come close or they come wide, hips sit back, fingers reach forward, child's pose. We're going to take 2 breaths there. And we have a little visitor, so I'm still working on the setup. This is JJ joining us for yoga. He is not intimidated by the baby gate, so I've got to figure out something else to kind of keep him up. So we're going to take one more breath in our child's pose. And then rise back up into tabletop. We're going to find our way into a down dog. So you may need to walk your hands forward a little bit. Everyone's down dog is a little different. Root down into your knuckles. Lift the heel of your hands just a tiny bit to take pressure off your wrists. Tuck your toes. Press your hips up and back. Nice down dog. So take about 4 breaths here, and you can pedal it out. You can move your hips side to side. If you're looking for a little more power movement, bring it forward into plank and back into down dog a few times. Couple more breaths here. So feel free to put a little bend to your knees if that feels good. If your hamstrings, lower back, or glutes are tight, a little bend to your knees is going to take pressure off of those areas of the body. One more breath. We're going to take a full breath in our down dog. Rooting down into the knuckles. Heels reach for the floor, but they don't have to touch. Relax your chest, your head, and your chest presses back towards your thighs. As you inhale, look at the top of the mat. Exhale, step your feet forward. Take them a little wider than your hips. You can grab elbows or let your hands hang heavy here. So we're going to take 3 breaths here if you want to sway side to side or bend and lengthen the legs. But try and bring your chest a little closer to your thighs. Imagine your head is like a big bowling ball. It's really heavy. Just pulling down on your spine, lengthening everything out, creating space between your vertebrae. We're going to take one more breath here. If you're holding your elbows, go ahead and release them. Press down into the soles of your feet. Roll up nice and slow. Let your head come up last. Give your shoulders a couple shrugs back. Gonna take your heels under your hips. Pull in the lower abs, bring your tailbone facing down. Lift your chin and take a big breath in. Reach up to the sky. Lace your fingers, leave just your pointers out. And as you exhale, lean over to the left side. Push into your right hip, outside of your right foot. Take a big breath here. And come back to center. Exhale over to the right, pushing into your left hip, stretching the left side of the body. And come back up to center. Good, take your hands down. You can take them to your hips or you can take them to your chest. Excuse me, I have allergies, so please don't think I'm sick, everyone. I know everyone's kind of on edge about that, but this is just my seasonal allergies because I've been spending time outside. So nobody worry about me. I'm all good. We're going to take our hands to our hips, or you can bring them up to your heart, whatever's comfortable. We're just going to work through the feet just for a couple moments here. So bring the heels under the hips and shift your weight back into your heels. Lift your toes and spread them. And then start to roll through your feet. So take that weight to about the middle of your foot, the balls of your feet, lower your toes, and then start to shift your weight into the balls of your feet, lifting your heels and coming up. And then reverse that. Down through the balls of your feet, all the way back to your heels, lifting the toes. So just do that a few times here. Maybe soften your knees. Just really start to feel the ground with your feet. Let's go one more time. Bring it up. And gently roll it down. Good. Now go ahead and take your weight evenly into your feet. So pressing into the balls of your feet, your heels evenly into the ball, outside of the foot, inside and outside of the heel, so you're nice and steady. And take a big breath in. Exhale, soften your knees and fold forward with a nice flat back. Lift halfway to a flat back, so your fingers can come to your shins or your thighs, or if you have your blocks here. And then as you exhale, fold forward. Two more like that. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Try and get a nice flat back like a table, and then fold. One more time, lift halfway. Really press into the soles of your feet. And then lower. Inhale, rise all the way up. Reach for the sky. Bring your palms together. Exhale, bring them to your heart. Root down into your entire foot to rise. Soften your knees and fold. Good. Lift halfway to that flat back. Lengthen through the crown of the head. And fold. Plant your hands and step back to tabletop position. So again, bringing the wrists under the shoulders, the knees under the hips, pressing into the knuckles, the knees and the tops of the feet. Lengthen through the spine. Inhale, press down into your left hand, your right leg. Right arm, left leg, come out. Come on back into that tabletop. Find that balance. Root down into the right hand, left leg. Left arm, right leg. So you're just going to make sure as you come back into tabletop, you're pressing down into both hands, both knees and feet. And then you're shifting your weight to reach, then coming back into that tabletop. And feel free to lift that leg behind you for a little more challenge fit. Press down into all 4 points and reach. Good. Press down into all 4 points. Bring your toes together. Knees can come in close or take them wide. Sit your hips back. Reach your arms forward. Child's pose for 2 breaths. One more breath. Rise up into your tabletop. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, nice long spine. Take your right leg behind you. Take it outside of your right hand. Tuck your left toe, scoot your knee back. Feel free to grab blocks if you'd like some support here. So we're just going to come into a nice low lunge. Knee and toe are in line with each other. And then you're going to rise up. So relax your shoulders. Maybe push back a little bit on that right hip and forward with the left. Fingers stay nice and energized. I like to say like lasers shooting up to the sky. We're going to take a 1 breath, lengthen up through the spine. Exhale, hinge forward. Take your left hand to the ground or a block. Right hand comes to your hip or the sky. And if you'd like, you can tuck that left toe and lift your knee for a nice twist. We're going to hold this for 2 breaths. So you want to lengthen through the crown of the head, lengthen through the fingertips, root down into your right foot and your left knee and your left hand. Take 1 more breath. Imagine lengthening a little bit more. And as you exhale, take your right hand inside of your right foot. Root down into that right hand. Lift your left hand up to the sky. And then let that hand come down. Press down into the left hand. Right fingers reach up for that twist. Maybe float your back knee. And come on down. We're going to add a little bit more here. Press down into the right hand. Tuck your right toe, or your left toe. Turn in your left heel. Left fingers reach to the sky, and then you're going to rise up into Warrior Two. So with Warrior Two, you want your knee and your toe in line with each other. If you can see your big toe, that's great. If not, you might want to open up your knee a little bit. Maybe pull back on the left hip. Shrug the shoulders back, nice proud chest. Fingers are long. Reaching, 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 and your gaze is over your right fingertips. Give me a little wave in the camera. And then as you inhale, reach up to the sky, lengthen the right leg. Exhale, come back into that Warrior Two, maybe taking it a little deeper this time. Inhale to pause. Exhale, cartwheel your hands down to frame your right foot, step back to tabletop. Press back to child's pose. Inhale to come back up to tabletop. And take that left foot back behind you. Take it inside of your left hand, tuck your right toe, scoot that knee back. Or actually outside of your hand. So take a moment here, make sure your knee and your toe are in line with each other, and then start to rise up into that low lunge. Take a couple breaths, pull back on the left hip, relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. Fingers stay nice and energized. Take a breath to lengthen up through the crown of the head. And exhale, fold forward, plant the right hand to the ground or block. Left hand comes to your hip or the sky. And maybe you float that back leg. And we'll take a couple breaths here. And remember, this is your practice. So feel free to take a breath, to take a little break if you need it. Any modifications you need, grab a drink if you need it. Listen to your body. Do what you need for your body. Let that left hand come down inside of your foot. And then take your right hand to your hip or the sky. And then let it come back down. Press down into the right hand. Left fingers reach up again for the twist. Maybe float your back knee. Bring your foot and your hand down. And this is when we add that little Warrior Two. So you're going to tuck your right toe. Press down into your left hand. Lift your knee. Turn in the right heel. Right fingers reach up. Press down into your feet to rise up Warrior Two. So same thing on this side. Root down into the outer edge of your right foot. Make sure you can see your left big toe. Maybe pull back on your right hip. All 10 fingers are strong. Give me a little wave. Turn up the corners of your mouth. We're having a great time. Inhale, reach up for the sky. Exhale, back to Warrior Two, a little tiny bit deeper. Inhale to pause here. Exhale, cartwheel your hands down to frame your foot. Step back to tabletop. And then back to child's pose. Knees can be close or you can take them wide. Rise back up into tabletop. We're getting a little bit more movement to that little flow. So right leg comes behind you. Then take it outside of your hand. Tuck your back toe. Scoot your knee back. Rise up into that lunge. Fold forward, plant the left hand. Right fingers sweep up for your twist. Sweep that hand down. Plant it inside of your right foot. Turn in your left heel. Left fingers reach up. Root down to rise up Warrior Two. Inhale, lengthen up to the sky. Exhale, take it back down, Warrior Two. Inhale, reach towards me or towards your camera or phone, and then sweep your fingers up and back to dance your warrior. Take one more breath, really pressing down into the soles of both feet. And as you exhale, cartwheel your hands down to frame your foot. Step back to tabletop. Press back to child's pose. Rise back up into tabletop. Left leg comes back behind you. Take that foot outside of your hand. Find your low lunge. Lengthen up through the crown of the head. Bring your left hand down. Right fingers come to your hip or the sky. And then bring your right hand inside of your foot. Left hand inside of your foot. Good. Turn in your right foot. Right fingers to the sky. Root down into both feet. Rise up, warrior two. Inhale, reach up for the sky. Exhale, back to warrior two. Inhale, reach forward. Then sweep your fingers up and back to dance. And then cartwheel your hands down to frame your foot. Step back to tabletop. Back to child's pose. Rise back up, tabletop. We're going to add a little bit more. Right leg comes back behind. Outside of your hand, find that low lunge. Go plant your left hand. Right fingers reach up. Then bring your right hand inside of your foot. Turn in the left heel. Rise up, warrior two. Reach for the sky. And bring it back down. Good. Sweep your right fingers up and back to dance. Come back into warrior two. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, bring it back. Inhale, reach. This time come into extended side angle. So lots of variations on this pose. It's whatever you like. You can have elbow to your thigh, reach for the sky. Bicep to ear, wrap it around. All 10 fingers long. It's whatever is comfortable for you. If you keep your elbow on your thigh, it's really easy to let that elbow kind of collapse down. So think of pressing a little bit into your thigh with that elbow to lengthen out. Keep space between your jaw and your shoulder. And then rise back up, warrior two. As you exhale, cartwheel your hands down to frame your foot. Step back to tabletop. Press back to child's pose. Rise back up into tabletop. And left leg comes back. Take it outside of your left hand. Rise up into your low lunge. Fold forward, plant your hands, sweep your left fingers up for your twist. And then come back up. Plant your left hand, tuck in the right heel. Right fingers come up, warrior two. Keep those fingers nice and strong. Keep rooting down into your feet, especially the outer edge of that right foot. Reach up to the sky. Come back into warrior two, a little bit deeper. Reach your left fingers forward, then sweep them up and back to dance. Come back into warrior two. Reach forward as far as you can, left fingers, and find that extended side angle, whatever variation you like. So while you're here, you want to keep rooting down into your feet, all four corners. Keep your fingers energized. I know we usually don't think about it, especially when you're right here. These fingers kind of just hang out. So keep them nice and energized. Again, like lasers shooting out of them. And then come back up into your warrior two. As you exhale, cartwheel your hands down to frame your foot. Step back to tabletop. And take it back to child's pose. Rise back up into tabletop. Tuck your toes. Press your hips up and back, down dog. Take about 2 breaths here to pedal it out. Move your hips, whatever feels good. Rooting down into the knuckles. Keeping the knees soft if that feels nice. On your next exhale, step or hop your feet forward. Halfway lift to that flat back, lengthening through the crown of the head, and fold. Root down into your feet to rise up. Palms come together. Exhale, bring them down to your heart. Inhale to reach for the sky. Soften your knees and fold. Step your right foot back. Rise up into a lunge. Turn in your right heel, come into left heel, right heel, come into warrior two. Ooh, guys, we almost made it through class with me having my right and left correct. Fingers keep reaching, shoulders shrug back. Inhale, reach up for the sky, lengthen the left leg. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart and turn your left toes to the front. Inhale to reach up for the sky, turn your right toes to the back. Exhale, open up warrior two with the right leg in front. Let's try that again. Inhale, rise up, reach for the sky. Hands come to heart, all 10 toes face forward. Inhale to reach up, turn your left toes to the front. Exhale, open up warrior two. Just gonna do a couple more of those. Move with your breath here. Take your time. Inhale to really lengthen. Exhale. Good. And just think of rooting down into your feet. So we're moving the feet around, but each time you move them, you want to press into all four corners of your feet before you start the next movement. Pause here. And then rise up, turn all 10 toes out, and you may need to heel toe them in just a little bit. You want your wrists over your ankles. Shoulders come over the hips, spine is long. You're going to pull in those abs again to bring that tailbone facing down. Reach up to the sky, bend your knees, bend your elbows. Goddess pose. So think of sliding down a wall. Like your back is sliding down a wall. It's very easy to tilt those hips back. So you're going to pull that tailbone under, shoulders over hips. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. And you want your elbows to come more towards the back of your ribs than the front. So you're keeping your chest open. Chin is lifted. I know you guys have been here forever. It feels fantastic, doesn't it? Take one more breath here. Good. Inhale, lengthen the legs, hands to hips. Heel toe your feet in just a little bit. We're going to do a couple standing balances. So you're going to ground down into the left foot, all four corners. Big toe, little toe, inside, outside of the heel. Shift your weight into that foot, hands to hips or to your heart, coming into tree pose. So we're all going to start out today in a very basic beginning tree pose. That's really good. I hate to say basic or beginning because this is good for anyone at any point in your practice. You have a little kickstand with the ball of your foot down and you're pressing down into the ball of your foot just a little bit. You want your hips to be nice and square. Hip and knee are as open as they can be. Hands can come to your heart or they can stay at your hips. So lengthen up through the spine. We're going to root down to rise up. You can probably hear that a lot, but really just press down into your foot and lengthen up through the spine. This is a great place to stay today. If you want a little more challenge, take your foot up to your calf. So I love it here at my calf because one, my foot, the sole of my foot matches perfectly like a puzzle piece to my calf. And also my hips stay square. For me, if I bring my foot way up here, it lifts my hip and then I'm really off balance. So you can stay here if it works for your body. You can take that foot up a little bit higher. Make sure you're above or below your knee though, so you're not pressing into your knee. Press the sole of your right foot into your left leg. Press in through the whole sole of the right leg. And you can stay here or you can grow your tree into some cool branches. We've got 2 breaths wherever you're at, but you can always wobble, you can fall, you can step out for a moment. You've got 1 more round of breath. And then turn your knee in, bring your hands to your heart, set your foot down. Let's try the other side, give it a shake out. Root down into that right foot, all 4 corners. Open up the left knee and the hip and start with that kickstand. Shoulder blades slide down the back. Lengthen up all the way through the spine. You can stay here or you can start to bring that right foot up. That left foot. Once I get the wrong side, guys, it's who knows what's going to happen in class, right? So again, find your tree on this side. It may look completely different than the other side. It may feel completely different. Focus and breathe. You can always sway like the trees outside. Hopefully not as crazy as the other day with those like 55-mile-an-hour winds. Let's take a couple breaths here. 1 more breath, really root down into the entire right foot. And on your next inhale, bring your left knee in, set that foot down, give it a little shake out. Good, let's take a big breath in. Hands come down to your heart. We're just gonna come into chair pose 1 time. I know you guys love chair. You're probably wondering, when are we gonna do chair, Nikki? We love it so much. So of course, we'll do a little bit of chair pose before we stretch it out. So you can have big toes touching or almost touching. It's whatever's comfortable. Again, root down into all 4 corners of your feet. Start with your hands at your heart, shoulders shrug back, spine stays long. As you shift your weight a little more into your heels, bend your knees and sit back. So you don't have to come very low in the chair, but you want to keep your spine long. It's very easy for that tailbone to tilt up a bit. So you'll pull those lower abs in, keep the spine in line with each other. Maybe take it a little deeper. Maybe take your arms forward or bicep to ears. Being aware sometimes when you bring your arms up here, that tailbone tilts up. Take 1 more breath. And on your next exhale, fold forward. Give a nice half lift here. Long spine. And fold. Plant your hands and step back into down dog. And again, knees can be a little soft here. Let's pedal it out for a couple breaths. Then let your knees come down to the mat. I'm going to swing your legs around in front of you, having a nice seat. Find your sit bones here. We're going to do a little bit different hip stretch, outer hip stretch than we usually do. So you're going to bend both knees and plant your feet. And walk your hands back just a little bit. Take your right ankle, put it in front of your left thigh for a figure 4. This might be where you're at. You want to keep your foot flexed and your knee and hip stay nice and open. So if this is a nice stretch for you, you can stay here, or you can start to come forward, bringing your chest closer to your thighs. If you'd like a little bit deeper stretch, you can scoot your hips closer to your right heel, your left heel. So everybody's body is different, and your body's different every day. So find that nice, good stretch that's not sharp or painful, but feels pretty good. Take 1 more breath here. And then maybe walk your hands back a little bit. Bend your elbows, lean back, switch legs. Left ankle comes in front. Bring yourself forward. Find that sweet spot on the side. Maybe it's different than the other side. We're going to take a couple breaths here, flexing your foot. And then gently lean back. Release that leg. Take it long in front of you. Find your sit bones. Sit up nice and tall. Maybe move your glutes around a little bit here. So feet stay flexed. Knees can bend as much as you need for less pressure on the hamstrings and low back. Reach up to the sky. You want to keep your spine long. So a lot of times we let the lower back collapse in and fold. You want to keep that spine long, so you're going to hinge forward, keeping the spine long. Once you reach that point, you can't fold anymore without your back collapsing a little bit or arching up. Let your hands come down to the ground or the blocks or your legs. Bend your knees a little bit if you need to, and take a couple deep breaths. And you're not going to get as far as when you collapse that back, but that's okay. Hopefully you're still feeling a nice stretch along the back of the glutes, the back of the legs, your lower back a bit. And then gently rise up. Bend your knees, bring the bottoms of your feet together. Butterfly, it's got a lot of angles. Butterfly, bound angle, or a lot of names. Bottoms of the feet are together, but it's okay if they open up a little bit and just the outer edges touch. Lengthen up through the spine and fold forward. Nice deep breaths. So this can be a pretty intense stretch for some people if you have tight inner hips and outer hips. So just take it to where it's a nice stretch for you and breathe. Focus your breath on any tightness, any tension that you're feeling. On your next inhale, gently rise up. Go ahead and take your right leg long and bring your left leg inside of your right foot. And then you're going to turn your leg a little bit your body a little bit to the left. So you're coming a little bit at an angle here. And you can take a block if that feels good. You're going to take your right hand, it's going to come to the inside or outside of your leg. Your left arm reaches out, then comes up. You're going to lean over to the side. So a lot of times you try to take your nose to your knee. We don't want to add that little twist to the body. We're going to take it straight to the side, stretching out the right side of the body. So again, your right hand or left side of the body. So your right hand can be inside or outside of your leg. And we're just going to take one more breath to really lengthen everything out. Press down into your glutes. And then as you inhale, come back up through center, and let's switch sides. Take the legs long, and then take that right leg inside of your left, and turn yourself a little bit to the right side. And sit up nice and tall, arms cone wide. Reach your right arm out, up, and then over for that side stretch. And again, a block inside or outside of your leg is a nice little support for your stretch. You're going to inhale to lengthen one more time. And then on your next inhale, come back up. Take your legs long in front of you. Bend your knees, plant your feet, and you want to be midway on your mat. So if you have a block, that's great. If you don't, you can use a rolled up blanket or a cushion or anything else to support your lower back here. And you're going to take your arms out by the side, maybe grab the back of your legs or down by your side. Find your way down onto your back. Bring your heels in. Lift your hips and take that block or that blanket or whatever you'd like. Slide it underneath your lower back. Lift your shoulders, shrug them back to open up your chest, and settle in. So you can stay here, supported bridge. Legs can come up for waterfall. I like to take my legs long. Stretches out my hip flexors a little bit more, or any other variation you'd like. And we're going to take 4 rounds of breath. And as you're breathing, I want you to really notice how that block or that cushion feels, gently pressing against your lower back. Putting just maybe a little bit of pressure to help release and relax that lower back a bit. Notice how the mat feels against the back of your upper shoulders, against the back of your head, the back of your arms, whatever's touching. Just notice the feeling. Breathe nice and deep. Notice if it feels good. This is a position that feels really nice. You might want to take it again later, or if it just doesn't feel good. And then start to bend your knees. Plant your feet. Gently lift your hips, slide that block out, set it to the side, and lower your hips down. Bring your knees into your chest. Give them a little hug, keeping your low back on the ground. Maybe rock side to side or draw some little circles with your knees. Good. Bring your feet back down to the mat and walk them out, knees bent, walk them out about mat distance. Arms come out by your side. On your next exhale, let your legs fall over to the right side. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale over to the left. Inhale back to center. Take 2 more breaths each side at your own pace. Really trying to press your lower back into the mat as your knees are windshield wipering back and forth. I want to have you here as a nice captive audience. Guys, again, we appreciate you practicing with us, tuning in either live or if you can't make it live later on your own. And we want to make this yoga accessible for everyone. If you are able to donate, we truly appreciate it. The donations go not just to paying the teachers, who some of us are struggling just like everyone else because we only have this avenue to teach, no longer face-to-face right now. And that money also goes to Yoga Buzz's mission of making yoga accessible to everyone. You know, we're bringing it to the community any way that we can, such as right now online, and helping everyone get yoga in their life and experience yoga. Bring your knees back up to center. Maybe give them a little hug. You're going to find your way into your final resting pose. That may be legs long, arms by your side. That might be butterfly, maybe having blocks support your thighs. It can be any position that feels nice. If you like that block under your lower back, you can put it there. You can come up to seated. Wherever you're at, take a big breath. Breathe it in through the nose. Big exhale to let everything out. Soften your gaze or close your eyes. It's very hard to shut everything off, especially when we have so much going on in our lives. So it's okay for thoughts to pop into your head during Shavasana or meditation. Just let them float away. So you can acknowledge them, but then let them go. And bring your mind back to your breath. Take this little bit of time here for you, for your mind, for your body to rest, relax, and reset. Focusing on that breath, breathing in the positive, letting go of anything that your mind and body do not need right now. Friends, please feel free to stay here as long as you need. Whenever you're ready, you can come out of it. I want to thank you once again on behalf of myself, Yoga Buzz, Gateway Arch Park. Thank you so much for joining us. Please stay healthy, friends. From my heart to yours, peace, love, and light. Thank you.